Walmart issues major warning for us as consumers. Not only that, they actually have some other news that is pretty puzzling. I want you to pay attention to because it will affect the way that you shop in the coming few weeks and months ahead. We're also going to talk about the new polls that just dropped after Kamala's wonderful interview. It was kind of funny actually, but it was a staged interview that said live, not quite live, but man, it was a rambling mess. So we're going to talk about those stories today. Also, we're going to discuss, again, Trump's move forward, what I think he should be doing, because I don't believe he's actually helping himself right now. Let's dive in.
Show me what it's like to be circling among the clouds, because without you by my side.
Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you see that we're inside, a little bit different change of environment just because of the weather outside. So thank you so very much for being here. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Let us know what you think about today's content. Now, if you've been following, and you need to go back and watch, we've got a few videos talking about it here, but on our vlog channel, The Max Life, we've been talking about a scamming situation that's been happening at Walmart. Now, I want to bring attention to it because this is kind of like a continuation of what we dealt with when I told you last week about getting your money back into cash and making sure that when you're going to these stores, when you're going shopping, that you're using cash. Because here's why. Walmart issues a major warning when it comes to devices that steal cards that were actually found in self-checkout. Now this story I had to find. It was kind of buried in some other ones, and it was from California, and it simply happened to where people were using their cards and actually getting scammed the whole time. Now, Misty has been talking about the gift card situation at Walmart. Now, you're starting to see that anytime someone is using cards, you're activating a chance for scammers to not only get gift cards taken from you, but your actual credit cards. It says the self-checkout kiosk seems to be safer, something that a lot of people have used. However, there has been several times where scammers have already set up devices that are taking your information and skimming your devices while you shop in these places. So when you think about having this protection on your credit cards or on your debit cards, we were worried about just gift cards. Now they're saying you're actually at a risk with your cards. You know, it comes to a point in time where you feel like you can't trust anybody. So they tell you to turn your Wi-Fi off. You know, don't use credit cards. Make sure you're using cash and don't have any virtual signatures on you when you shop because so many people can hack your information. This is just another way that you thought you were safe. Because for the longest, I actually liked self-checkout. I'm just going to be honest. And what it was because we heard horror stories of people checking other things out that actually was not in your cart when you go through a normal teller checkout. So people were not checking, there was things getting added to their cart and they never knew it. Now, self-checkout allows you to look at every little thing, check it, make sure it's just what you thought as in pricing and know what you're purchasing. And now if you're paying with card, which most self-checkout places do not allow cash, are you at risk to getting scammed? Now Misty's again been talking a lot about this and what she's done on the other channel. But now we were worried about gift cards, credit cards and debit cards. So again, go back to cash. Make sure you're using cash. They said there was a device found in the Yuba County Sheriff's Department found this device. And this was something from just a few months ago. It said it was hard to tell the keypad was different. It had a device that was built into it that looked like a typical keypad. What you were actually doing was giving information to a scammer. Now here's the thing that you want to pay attention to. It says Capital One Bank advises customers to cover their PIN numbers when typing them into the machines. It says use contactless or credit cards that does not have any way to have to use the PIN pad. Checking your banks and credit card accounts are regularly important because more stores are seeing more fraudulent uses of credit cards. Very, very dangerous. It says scammers cost, listen to this, scammers cost financial institutions and consumers over $1 billion each and every year, according to the FBI. So they're saying, look, we see the problem. We know the problem, kind of like what Misty was dealing with Walmart. They see the issue. However, they can't control the issue. So don't you think that most of these stores should allow you to use cash? Don't you think most of these stores should warn you and have warning labels on these things? And again, we're talking about credit cards. And now Capital One and FBI both come out and say, yeah, it's happening. We see it. And no one seems to can do anything about it. Isn't that amazing? So now here's where I always push back. Why do you want to be on a digitized currency? Why do you want to have all your money on a bank card or some kind of device if even the FBI and Capital One of the biggest banks, the biggest retailer, Walmart, and the FBI, who of course is supposed to be watching over the homeland, if they're all telling you this is happening and no one can do anything about it, why do you want to put more of your money on a card or device knowing it can be taken away from you? And here's the two sad things. It says their market share is actually growing because the way they've learned to lower prices. So therefore, more people are shopping there because they're trying to save money. And more people are using credit cards to actually shop and debit cards to actually shop. How safe is their money? So again, first of all, you need to be using cash. If you're not, use a device, as it said, where you're not typing in a code or having to use the keypad, because they said that's where a lot of the problems come forth. Now also, if you have a card, it says make sure you have the little device, the little security chip. If you're using a credit card without a security chip, they said you are more at risk. So again, to solve the problem, choose cash. But if not, make sure you understand that there are some risks there. For any debit card I have, we have an app for, because I want to see exactly what goes to my bank. That way I never have a problem and I have the protection just in case something takes place like this. Again, as Missy was talking about in her videos, get away from gift cards for sure. But make sure that your cards have the extra security built in, because if not, you may be one of this $1 billion that is scammed each and every year. Now, two more stories. A new poll came out stating that actually Trump is now up by 4 or 5%. Now, you can't believe polls. I think they're skewed. But what I do think came out of this polling was showing that the DNC did not help Kamala. I think people realized how crazy some of these policies are with overtaxation and things like that. Not only that, Kamala's interview. Now, I said this a few weeks ago. I'm glad that Trump's doing these podcasts. I think it's very good. I do think he needs to stay away from the issues. Like when he talks, abortion, or he talks about certain things that he can do, or he uses that platform to just ultimately, badmouth Kamala. I don't think that plays in his favor. I think he needs to go back and talk about the economy, the border, cities in peril, school systems, and of course, no wars. He sticks to those 4 or 5 talking points. In these long-form interviews, he is going to dominate, especially after Kamala's situation with CNN. A pre-recorded interview that said live now. It says live, so it tried to fool you. But it absolutely was horrible. If you look at how much she said, even in a pre-recorded situation where she lost her train of thought. I want to read this quote. And this is just a piece of what I'm talking about. Now again, a fully scripted, pre-recorded interview. And this is with a friendly source like CNN. She was asked about climate change and her thoughts, and she said, the climate crisis is a real, this is her exact quote, the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time. Now, I want to read that one more time. The climate crisis is a real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time. Now, that made no sense. I said it twice so you could see exactly what I'm talking about. That's why I hope that she does more interviews, and that even in friendly interviews, it's just complete word salad. It's horrible. Now, as I stated with Trump, I love the fact that he's winning in polls. I love the fact he's doing long-form podcasts. I think that is the future of especially conservative media, but also just the future of just getting our points across with politics. But he came out against he's trying to push against the Florida ban with abortion. He's trying to, kind of cowtail on some of the things that he was thinking. I don't think that wins him votes on the Democrat side or even the Republican side. I don't think the push with IVF and things like that is helping him on either side. I wish he'd stay away from those issues, talk about them in jest, make it very quick points. Hey, that's why we put it back to the states. The states need to choose that. The federal government should not be making those decisions, and leave it at that. That's exactly what happened when you overturned Roe v. Wade, which was phenomenal. But now say, look, no matter what my opinion is, it does not matter. It's what the states say. If he leaves it at that and talks about the 4 to 5 points that we talked about earlier, he will dominate, especially when we get the word salad from Kamala. So I'm glad he's winning the polls. I'm glad that he's doing long form podcast. I just hope that he tones down some of the rhetoric and talking points that does not simply help his conservatism movement, but also doesn't help him win votes on the Republican side. Guys, let me know your thoughts on these stories. Remember, be careful with your credit cards anywhere you go. Walmart, Target, I don't care, wherever you're going. Because anytime we have a digitized form of currency, you risk it being taken from you. And then guess what? You can't get it. If you have cash, yes, someone could rob you. Understand that. But learn to carry cash. Learn to utilize cash. We went shopping last night. Me and Misty, we went out to eat. I took her on a date. It was a wonderful time. And I used cash. The guy was like, "You're using cash?" First of all, it saved me 3%. And on top of that, I know I don't have to worry about getting scammed. I used my cash, paid the guy a good tip. He walked away with money. I walked away with good food and a knowing of peace that I didn't get scammed. Guys, thank you for watching. God bless.
You can take me high.